pick up the signs that are coming to us naturally. So when in your daily traveling, you may be able seeing, oh, a deer is coming, or oh, look, there's a raccoon fighting, or oh, look, there's yesterday we had two cats fighting in the middle of Bhagavatam class, which is a bit of an inauspicious omen. I was a little worried about it actually. I was like, what is going on with this? So anyhow, these things can happen. But before we begin, we will have Avani, who is our new bhaktin, or that's a lady bhaktin. Someone practicing spiritual life with us. It is very nice. Or if you can do it, but it's very nice. So we'll chant these mantras together. These are Mangal Charana mantras given by Swami Prabhupada in the beginning of his Bhagavad Gita. Very, very nice. So we'll chant them. To the lineage of spiritual masters from the current and present gurus in my life, up through Srila Prabhupada, whose translation we're reading, and up to had this happen? So many tabs now. What's that?
I said every morning.
Yes. I reduced them yesterday, but they grow and grow every time more people put a verse up on here. So, I offer my obeisances unto all of the gurus, past, present, and future in my life, all of the Vaishnavas, you as well, past, present, and future. I'm very, very happy that you guys would come here and want to do this, being in Syracuse, New York, having, association with so many things that on your guys' morning you would much rather worship the Lord and even stay and associate. Rather than, anything else you could do. You could watch a movie, you could, sleep, you could, eat breakfast in bed, whatever you want to do. But you're doing this. So this is actually, who knows why Krishna has arranged that this is what you're doing. But, yes, this is very good actually. So, we have been reading now, if we remember, Arjuna went to Dwarka to see Lord Krishna, but then he never returned. And so now everyone is getting worried. And then Maharaj Yudhishthira, he began to observe some inauspicious omens. So today we'll talk about omens. Um, and you'll actually see, you'll learn, oh, these are omens, and actually you'll find that these things are happening constantly in our society, and you'll realize this is actually this is very inauspicious. This is very bad, actually. And anywhere you stay where these type of things are happening, you should get out. So we'll get into it. Kalasya chagating, no, kalasya cha, what is it? Kalasya chagating, oh yes. Kalasya chagating rodrang.
Kalasya chagating rodram.
Viparyastatu dharmina.
Viparyastatu dharmina.
Papiya sing nirnang bhartang.
Papiya sing nirnang bhartang.
Krodha lobha nirtatmanam.
Krodha lobha nirtatmanam.
Kalasya, of eternal time. Cha, also. Gatim, direction. Rodram, fearful. Viparyasta, reversed. Ritu, seasonal. Dharmina, regularities. Papi yasim, sinful. Nirnam, of the human being. Bhartam, means of livelihood. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. Anrita, falsehood. Atmanam, of the people. He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful, and he saw that they were adopting foul means of livelihood. This is some of the things Yudhishthira was seeing. Purport: when civilization is disconnected from the loving relation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, symptoms like changes of seasonal regulations, foul means of livelihood, greed, anger, and fraudulence become rampant. Well, you probably know this word, two words very well. Climate change, all these things are happening. Used to, when I was a kid, it would be, you'd have a pretty steady summer, you'd have pretty steady winters and things like that. Now it's like up and down. It's 80 degrees in February, and then all of a sudden it's freezing again. The summer, everything is so irregular now. And that's why everyone's getting sick all the time. Also, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but they now have geoengineering where the powers that be, if they want to make the weather irregular, whether through warfare or for some other reason, they have technology that can do that. They can make the weather, so many types of things.
China did it for the Olympics.
What's that?
China did it for the Olympics, 2008.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Beijing, and they busted the missiles on the water clouds, and it rained somewhere else, and it was dry season for 3-4 years, so they have deserted places because of that. In Dubai, they seed plant the water, so it rains there.
Yes, I mean, here they don't admit it, but they're doing so many things. When you see all the X's in the sky and the spread, there's something is happening. We don't know. Hopefully, it's not mass poisoning or something like that. But they have some agenda for what they do here. But anyhow, this is inauspicious omen, and this is how most people actually. This is how most governments, many, they are, doing on purpose inauspicious things. So, yes, welcome to Kali Yuga. So Yudhishthira was noticing this at the beginning. Once Krishna left, foul means of livelihood. There's so many black markets, human trafficking, so many horrible things are happening in society. Even myself, I was in the black market of herbs at one point in my younger years. Marijuana, I don't know if you care about this thing. But this is foul means of livelihood. There's so many horrible ways people make money. Some of the richest industries in society are horrible. I'm seeing now, just over and over again, there's, these, you guys know this like OnlyFans thing, you've heard of this? It's pretty much like practically pornographic website, and people have to subscribe to do it. It's like kind of legal prostitution. And people are making millions of dollars on it, millions of dollars, and there's a market for it. They wouldn't make the money if people weren't subscribing. So this is like a foul means of livelihood, but this is also people are spending their money on. But and this is one thing, but there's so many so many things that people are making money off of. There's predatory pharmaceutical industries. They're making so much money off of drugs and getting people addicted to drugs, and even medical treatments that are horrible for people, like chemotherapy and all these things that are killing people. But there's so much money in these businesses. So many foul means of livelihood, almost mostly foul means of livelihood. Slaughterhouses, the meat industries, people just, holocausting animals day by day by day, just going through an assembly line of slitting their neck, and then most people are eating and very happy, and it's foul. It's very foul.
There's even the whole subclass of what I call spiritual grifters that are, spiritually foul means of livelihood.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, cheating in every avenue of life. You have so many false gurus, so many false horrible things. So this is a inauspicious omen. When you see these things happening, you say, "Oh, I should not." Greed. Naturally, people are very greedy, wanting to accumulate. More than is necessary. Anger. People are unnecessarily angry. There's really only one good reason to be angry, and that's when God is being blasphemed and the devotee is being blasphemed. But other than that, and you can leave that place. You don't even have to stay there and get angry at them. You say, I'm out of here. And fraudulence becomes rampant. So this is Kali Yuga, but Yudhishthira is noticing this in his people. So he's thinking something bad has happened. The change of seasonal regulations refers to one season's atmosphere becoming manifest in another season. For example, the rainy seasons being transferred to autumn, or the fructification of fruits and flowers from one season in another season, or like very hot weather in February, or very cold weather in summer, like we've been experiencing, these things. A godless man is invariably greedy, angry, and fraudulent. So cheating, always has some cheating plot. Such a man can earn his livelihood by any means, black or white. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all the above symptoms were conspicuous by their absence. Meaning they were conspicuous, I think means like clear, evident. But they were, they weren't part of that his kingdom at all. He had a very auspicious kingdom, and now he's seeing them come up. He's seeing what's happening. But Maharaj Yudhishthira was astonished to experience even a slight change in the godly atmosphere of his kingdom, and at once he suspected the disappearance of the Lord. Foul means of livelihood implies deviation from one's occupational duty. There are prescribed duties for everyone, such as the Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. But anyone who deviates from his prescribed duty and declares another's duty to be his own is following a foul and improper duty. A man becomes too greedy for wealth and power when he has no higher objective in life, and when he thinks that this earthly life of a few years is all in all. Ignorance is the cause for all these anomalies in human society. And to remove this ignorance, especially in this age of degradation, the powerful sun is there to distribute light in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, yes, we'll see what it looks like for ignorant society, and then we'll also see the cause of this, and it's a false sense of being the master and trying to enjoy and not understanding karma, not understanding what is actually happening here. There's so much, you could see it in your life, in devotional life. There's two things that happen when bhakti actually begins, we, in the name of bhakti, it looks like yes, I chant Hare Krishna now, I come to the temple, I'm doing bhakti. But if the mind is filled with material desires, not much bhakti is actually happening as of right now. But when bhakti actually begins, two things automatically arise. And it's Shubhda Da, all auspicious qualities, and Klesh Agni. Klesh Agni, all miseries, finished. So you'll see in someone when they're really having bhakti, even if for you that would be a miserable situation, they'll not be miserable in that situation. Because they're situated in bhakti. Meaning they're situated in the Lord's service. No matter what happens, they see that's favorable. This is favorable for the Lord's service. They can be cheerful. They can be enthusiastic. So you can see that. Anyone who actually bhakti, this automatically happens. But when you're seeing all of these, horrid aspects of life, it means that the person is in ignorance, and these people are in ignorance. But the powerful sun is there to distribute light in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have a hope, actually. So yes, we need it. This is an age of degradation. I don't know if you've heard of Kali Yuga. It's just the time that we're in. It's the most difficult time for material happiness, but it's the most ripe and perfect time for spiritual advancement. Why? Because it's so materially inauspicious around us that it makes it very easy to be like, all right, God, I'm paying attention. This is crazy. This is crazy around me. So it's actually a very good time. So that's why we're here. Let's do the next verse. Jima prayang vyavahritang.
Jima prayam vyavahritam.
Shathya mishrang cha sohridam.
Satya mishram cha sohadam.
Pitramatra suhrid bratra.
Pitramatra suhid bratra.
Dampatinang cha kalkanam.
Dampatinam cha kalkanam.
Jima prayam.
Jima prayam.
Cheating. Vyavahritam. In all ordinary transactions.
All ordinary.
Shathya. Duplicity. Mishram. Adulterated in. Cha. And sohridam. Regarding friendly well-wishers. Pitra, father. Matra, regarding the mother. Suhrit, well-wishers. Bratra, one's own brother. Dam patinam, regarding husband and wife. Cha, also. Kalkanam, mutual quarrel. All ordinary transactions and dealings became polluted with cheating, even between friends. So here we go. This is, if you study life as it is, this is all happening here. Even, you go to the store and you get something on sale, they're marking a sale. Like there's so many, you've probably heard, what is this called? Marketing? Marketing, there's a whole how to market. But pretty much the whole thing is how to cheat people into getting your stuff. I studied in college. There's some little bit of innocence there, but every transaction is filled with cheating, filled with, profit, not, and then even so, people, I see it here with the Airbnb. There's always some, person wanting to come, and then all of a sudden they're trying to find some fault and give me a refund. Where's the refund? I want to stay here for free. And they're finding some fault and some threat or something like this. But all ordinary transactions became polluted with cheating. And guess what? It's still happening. You see it everywhere. You're being cheated everywhere. If you don't know it, just pay attention a little bit more and you'll see, oh, wow. Ben was realizing he had some car arrangement he finally just got rid of. It was just a cheating arrangement for years, just siphoning so much extra money for him unnecessarily. So many arrangements are this. Many of you are in college, and maybe if you pay attention, you might find a cheating arrangement happening between you and the business of the college. Many of you are taking out loans. If you pay attention, you might find out that there's some cheating arrangement happening. Yes, you'll see. The interest itself, all of these things is crazy. But anyhow, yes, you can go. Restroom is right around the corner here. Yes, no problem. Come. So in familial affairs, there was always misunderstanding between fathers, mothers, and sons, between well-wishers and between brothers, even between husband and wife. There was always strain and quarrel. Yes, you see, you grow up. In my family, personally, I'm seeing always misunderstandings, mothers, fathers, sons, well-wishers, brothers. Even I'm married, between husband and wife, strain and quarrel. It will come. Especially if not everyone is fully situated we're serving the Lord together. Guess what? This is Kali Yuga, and this is a very inauspicious omen. In days of past, you never see, especially in a godly civilization, these things would never take place. But it is the norm. It is the norm here. So, Kali Yuga. But Yudhishthira is noticing, this is bad. This is very bad. A conditioned living being is endowed with 4 principles of malpractice. Namely, errors, insanity, inability, and cheating. These are signs of imperfection, and out of the 4, the propensity to cheat others is most prominent. And this cheating practice is there in the conditioned souls because the conditioned souls are primarily in the material world, imbued with an unnatural desire to lord it over the material world. A living being, pretty much, People are thinking, this is my pleasure, and what can I do to cheat to secure my pleasure is most prominent. And this is the situation. And this cheating practice is there in the conditioned souls because the conditioned souls, they have an unnatural desire to lord it over the material world. It's not our constitution at all, but it's the conditioned desire. It's been imposed upon us by the environment. And we have bid it hook, line, and sinker. We are engaged in the movie, and we are thrilled at every step of this movie. Yes, how can we lord it over next? And it's ups and downs and twists and turns and unfortunate circumstances, but still the movie must go on. We said we should walk away from the movie. This movie sucks. I'm not subscribing to this movie anymore, but we're so engaged in the movie. A living being in his pure state is not conditioned by the laws because in his pure state he is conscious that a living being is eternally subservient to the Supreme Being, and thus it is always good for him to remain subservient, instead of falsely trying to lord it over the property of the Supreme Lord. In the conditioned state, the living being is not satisfied, even if he actually becomes the lord of all that he surveys, which he never becomes, and therefore he becomes the victim of all kinds of cheating, even with his nearest and most intimate relations. You get married, and you'll see even how this could creep in. You're life and soul. And I'll see it as soon as Abhiram starts cheating me. And I cheat Abhiram. So, but this is, Abhiram's my baby, if you don't know. So, but this is, you see, this is the nature. Not a good nature. In such an unsatisfactory state of affairs, there is no harmony, even between father and sons, or between husband and wife. But all these contending difficulties can be mitigated by one process, and that is the devotional service of the Lord. So this is how we can really help ourselves, and this is how we can really help others. The world of hypocrisy can be checked only by counteraction through devotional service to the Lord and nothing else. Maharaj Yudhishthira, having observed the disparities, conjectured the disappearance of the Lord from the earth. He realized, if all these things are happening, there's no way Krishna could still be here. And Narad already foretold this, that when this happens, that Krishna will leave at some point, and that's when you guys should leave. So now he's realizing it's almost time for us to go. Nimitanyat yadishtani Kaletvanugate nirnam Lobhadya dharma prakritim Drishtabo vachanujang nirpa Nimitani, causes, ati, very serious. Arishtani, bad omens. Kale, in course of time. Tu, but, anugate, passing away. Nirnam, of humanity at large. Lobha adi, such as greed. Adharma, irreligious. Prakritim, habits. Drishtva, having observed, Uvacha said, Anujam, younger brother, Nirpa, the king. In course of time, it came to pass that people in general became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, etc. Maharaj Yudhishthira, observing all these omens, spoke to his younger brother. Purport. Such a pious king as Maharaj Yudhishthira at once became perturbed when there were such inhuman symptoms as greed, anger, irreligiosity, and hypocrisy rampant in society. It appears from this statement that all these symptoms of degraded society were unknown to the people of the time, and it was astonishing for them to have experienced them with the advent of Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel. So for us, this is this is reality. This is the human experience. But actually, if you study the Shastra, if you study the tenses, how they're speaking, they're shocked that this is happening. Like, this is crazy. Like, oh my God. But this is just how we, oh yeah, you got to watch going over there. You might get mugged. No one would mug people back then. You wouldn't beat someone up and steal their stuff, But, now you got to watch walking down the street. You don't know what can happen. Especially, I know there's a few parts of town I'm definitely not interested in being in a certain time because, it's dangerous. So anyway. Like even when we go out in Harinam for Armory Square, what is our most prominent thing we were seeing? Yeah, homeless people on drugs, like wandering around. You go drive down Erie Boulevard and you see someone overdosing on fentanyl, and for whatever reason, they always are like bending down like this. They're just like looking at the ground. Like, what the hell is this? But, like, it's crazy. It is crazy. And it's normal. Oh, yeah, that's just people nowadays. This is incredibly, and like, this didn't even exist 50 years ago. Like the fentanyl, like crazy. This is crazy. But, they were noticing like just the normal human conditions were crazy. If they saw this, who knows? Oh my God. Anyhow, it's a crazy experience of life. But yeah, this is now it's just normal. This is normal. Yudhishthira Vacha Sampreshito Dvarakayang Jishnor Bandhu Didrikshaya Gyatung Cha Punya Shlokasya Krishnasya Cha Vicheshtitam. Yudhishthira Vacha, Maharaj Yudhishthira said, Sampreshita has gone to Dwarakayam, Dwaraka, Jishnu, Arjuna, Bandhu, friends, Didrikshaya, for the sake of meeting, Gyatum, to know, Cha, also, Punya Shlokasya, of the personality of Godhead, Krishnasya, of Lord Shri Krishna, Cha, and Vicheshtitam, program of work. Maharaj Yudhishthira said to his younger brother Bhimasen, I sent Arjuna to Dwarka to meet his friends and learn from the personality of Godhead, Krishna, of his program of work. So we'll just read through these quickly. Gata saptaduna masa Bhimasena tavanuja Nayati kasya vahetor Nahang vededa manjasa. Gata has gone. Sapta, 7. Aduna, to date. Masa, months. Bhimasen, O Bhimasen. Tava, your. Anuja, younger brother. Na, does not. Ayati, come back. Kasya, for what? Va, or. Heto, reason. Na, not. Aham, I. Veda, no. Idam, this. Anjasa, factually. Since he departed, 7 months have passed, yet he has not returned. I do not know factually how things are going there. Api devarshinadishta Sakaloyam upastita Yadatmanon akridam Bhagavanutsis rikshati Api, whether Deva Rishina, by the demigod saint Narada, Adishta, instructed, Sa, that, Kala, eternal time, Ayam, this, Upastita, arrived, Yada, when, Atmana, of his own self, Angam, plenary portion, Akridam, manifestation, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Utsisrikshati, is going to quit. Is he going to quit his earthly pastimes as Devarshi, Narada indicated? Has that time already arrived? So now Yudhishthira is asking. He's seeing all these inauspicious omens. What could be the cause of this? And he's saying, Narada already tipped him off what was going to happen. So he's now observing these things. So, well, here we go. I actually was quoting this verse to you this morning, Avani, this Bhagavad Gita 4.7, so Prabhupada will also bring this out again. As we have discussed many times, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, has many plenary expansions, and each and every one of them, although equally powerful, executes different functions. In Bhagavad Gita, there are different statements by the Lord, and each of these statements is meant for different plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions. For example, Sri Krishna the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of your religion, at that time I descend myself to deliver. This is Paritranaya Sadhunam. We'll do the. It's Yada Dharmasya, Glanir Bhavati Bharata, Abhyutanam Adharmasya, Tadatmanam Srijamyaham. And then the next verse he says is Paritranaya Sadhunam, Vinashaya Chadushkritam, Dharma Sangsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. And Prabhupada what did I do? So he said, to deliver the faithful and to annihilate the miscreants, and also to reestablish the principles of occupational duty, I appear in every age. If I should cease, he also says, if I should cease to work, then all humanity would be yes.
In every age, why would he have the need to appear in the other yugas?
Well, because there's something called Yuga Avatar. You know, for instance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming in this age to show what is the actual proper dharma in every age. So,
the other ages,
like Satya Yuga, there's so many different ages. I mean, he comes many times, maybe even in one age. Like we have all the Dashavatars. So he'll come whenever a certain way of worship needs to be established, and this is good for everyone. Like for instance, Nrsimha comes. Why does Nrsimha come? Because Hiranyakashipu had completely overthrown religion altogether. And so Nrsimha had to come to reestablish religion and to show that, you know, the way of Prahlad, this is the way of worship. And for this time, so we learn this thing then. And it depends. There's so many unique time, places, and circumstances in every age. And in every age, the Lord will come in a very special package that's perfect for that time, place, and circumstance. For our age, it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we worship in the form of the Sankirtan movement. That's why every day we get together with people and we're chanting Hare Krishna. This way every day we do this. This program is, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's program. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita is giving a whole chapter on the glories of Bhagavatam. Everything is on the conclusions of Bhagavatam. So this is why we study the Srimad Bhagavatam, main study. For class, why do we give Bhagavad Gita class? This is the most universally accepted Shastra of Krishna. But Krishna's real heart is in Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is kind of setting the foundation. But everyone will universally accept Bhagavad Gita. Okay, it's accepted. So that's why, Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, his program was Bhagavad Gita. Whereas Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta, and the other acharyas would quote from Bhagavad Gita, but their program was more Srimad Bhagavatam or even Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Why? Because this is what really was going to get into the deep essence. And the people of India, by and large, could understand this. But here, when Prabhupada came to the West, we're as far gone as we can be. So he's like, all right, back to the basics. What everyone in India already knows, you just take this. And so that's why it's recommended we study Bhagavad Gita. And I know personally, before I could come to this path, I had to study Bhagavad Gita multiple times before I was really interested in anything else. So anyway, this has to happen. But that's why in every age, because there's very unique circumstances in every age, that the Lord everything's running through the Lord. Actually, you might think, back in Dwapar Yuga it was perfect. No, there was still a crazy thing that just happened with the Duryodhana side and everything. It's calamity in every step in the material world. In Satya Yuga, it's much more peaceful, but then eventually someone like Hiranyakashipu pops in, and that's the nature of the material world. It's meant to, eventually, there might be longer periods of peace and prosperity, but eventually it's going to get destroyed somehow. So the Lord, He's always coming to, whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice and a predominant rise of irreligion, He will descend Himself. So whenever that happens, and you might think in Satya Yuga, how does that happen? But it also will happen. But it will just be less prominent. In Kali Yuga, it's just everywhere. It's rampant. But actually, now more than ever, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is spreading all over the world, and it's counteracting this. And we're actually actively going and challenging. Tonight, everyone's seva for the day is please join us for fireworks. Come, we're going to the fireworks in Manlius. There'll be so many people there, and we're going to do Harinam. And instead of, independence, yeah, I'm proud to be an American, I'm proud to be in this body and born in this place, and be in ignorance and illusion. Say, no, God, Hare Krishna, and we'll be there to challenge these conclusions. So if I should cease to work, then all humanity would be misdirected. I would also be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would therefore destroy the peace of all sentient beings. Whatever action a great man performs, common men will follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So Prabhupada's quoting all of these in Bhagavad Gita. Why? All the above statements by the Lord apply to different plenary portions of the Lord, namely his expansions such as Sankarshan, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Narayan. These are all he himself in different transcendental expansions, and still the Lord as Sri Krishna functions in a different sphere of transcendental exchange with different grades of devotees. Hey, Abhiram. And my wife too. And yet, Lord Krishna, as he is, appears once every 24 hours of Brahma's time, or after a lapse of 8,640,000,000 solar years. In each and every universe, and all his transcendental pastimes are displayed in each and every universe in a routine spool. But in that routine spool, the functions of Lord Krishna, Lord Vasudeva, etc., are complex problems for the layman. There is no difference between the Lord's self and the Lord's transcendental body. The expansions execute different differential activities. When the Lord, however, appears in his person as Lord Sri Krishna, his other plenary portions also join him by his inconceivable potency called Yogamaya. And thus the Lord Krishna of Vrindavan is different from the Lord Krishna of Mathura or the Lord Krishna of Dwarka. So Prabhupada is talking about so many things that inevitably anyone who, upon first reading, would likely be very confused by all these things. So try to paint a picture here. There is one absolute truth. You would say Brahma is the one absolute truth. But for the sake of the experience of love, that one becomes many. Because within one, there's something very much missing in complete unity. There is no love. So for love, there has to be at least two. There cannot be love if in just one. No one says, "Oh my God, I'm in love with myself." This is like a total narcissistic, crazy thing. But even that, they're in love with all the appreciation of others. How others view them. If no one was there to potentially appreciate them, the narcissist can't really thrive on anything. So there's no loving of just oneself. So the Lord in his many expansions, the whole purpose of the different varieties is to discover love, how to be in love. So this is the point of existence. So in that whole cosmic expanse, now everything that you see in existence in this universe, now think, there are billions upon billions of other universes, just as seemingly infinite as this one. And on top of that, they're all emanating through expansions of the Lord, and different expansion is controlling that. So there's so many expansions from that one original expansion. So there's so many different, you could say, incarnations and expansions or potencies of the Lord. Avani was asking about the super soul expansion today, how the Lord is within the heart of every atom of existence. And, that's also an expansion of the Lord. So everything is happening in different universes, and Prabhupada's saying in like a routine spool. So there's so many varieties of how it works, but by and large the same type of yuga cycles are there. There's cycles of the Lord's incarnations, and there's so many things happening. There's cycles of birth and death, and we've been going through cycles for so long. Birth, disease, old age, death, repeat over and over. But the Lord also is doing, in this age it'll get crazy, so I have to take this type of incarnation to help them. In this age it'll get a certain way, and then I have to take this incarnation. And the Lord is always there. So, but anyhow, there's no difference between the Lord's self and his transcendental body. And these expansions execute differential activities. So the Lord has like kind of jobs for his expansions. In many ways, you can imagine like a CEO. A CEO's creation is his corporation, right? But he'll hire expansions of himself. The Lord doesn't have to hire anything outside of himself. He can expand. But the CEO will hire an expansion of himself to carry on the duties that need to happen for the corporation to run. He has the overarching idea, okay, it has to run like this. And I've got Parth Das as the CEO over here. Benjamin can be the CFO. Piyush can be the treasurer, and so on. He deputes. And this person will be an expansion of myself carrying this out, right? So similarly, the Lord, he has his He has his spiritual pastimes in Vrindavan, and he's very interested in doing that. But for different varieties and for different purposes, and to help the many fallen living entities, he will send himself in different expansions. It actually is him. It will connect directly to him, but it's not him in totality. And actually, him in totality is not a... He's like the CEO off on vacation, enjoying sports for eternity. That's what Krishna does. He's really an enjoyment, Whereas he deputes even like the Mathura and Dwarka conceptions of Krishna. He takes charge. He has social duties. He does this, this, and this, and he has all kinds of social roles. But Vrindavan Krishna, he is not doing all these things. It's actually pure enjoyment, but enjoyment in the purest way. We can't even fathom unless we study these pastimes what that type of enjoyment can look like. But there are gradations that we can lead to him. So that's why we study the Krishna of Dwarka's Bhagavad Gita. It's not Vrindavan Krishna giving that Bhagavad Gita. It's Dwarka Krishna. Now, Dwarka Krishna is connected to Mathura and Vrindavan Krishna, and sometimes some leak of Vrindavan Krishna actually comes through Bhagavad Gita, and our acharyas reveal where and when that happens. But this is good for us because we have so many social attachments. So the Krishna in the form of, okay, here's the social justice Krishna, and that's Bhagavad Gita. But then you can learn in Bhagavatam that there's when Krishna's, gets back in his hometown and where everything's very sweet and, he kicks off his shoes and he kicks off the business uniform and like this, his interactions are totally different. Probably you have a similar experience. You have your role at work. You have your role around certain social people. But then you get around your friends and your family, especially you go to your hometown and you get around them. It's just like a completely different way of being. You just you let loose a little bit and, you take off a few hats that you've gathered, a few upadis that you've gathered in this material world, and you just, be a little bit more original or natural version of yourself. So Krishna has the same type of thing. So anyway, one of the expansions, the Virat Rupa of Lord Krishna, is also different from him by his inconceivable potency. The Virat Rupa exhibited on the battlefield of Kurukshetra is the material conception of his form. Therefore, it should be understood that when Lord Krishna was apparently killed by the bow and arrow of the hunter, the Lord left his so-called material body in the material world. That's why I love studying Bhagavatam, because I've done this in my third time reading through Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, and this is hitting me. For whatever reason, I read this before and it never really hit me, but it is kind of just hitting me now. But the Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he gives his Virat Rupa. And he's showing in Arjuna the divine realization that everything is actually me. Everything. So when it looks like Krishna is killed by a hunter, who would the hunter be? If that realization is there, that everything... Yes. So Krishna is just through another aspect of himself appearing to disappear from the world. That's all. Just like, are you familiar with a false flag? We're probably watching many of them happen in the news right now. We say, oh, this has happened, this side bomb, this. But a false flag is what it is a country will, they'll create a problem. Why? Because they have an agenda for a solution. Like, for instance, Hitler, this is historically studied. He lit buildings on fire, and he said the Jews lit these buildings on fire. And we have to punish the Jews. He had an agenda. The Jews didn't light the buildings on fire. He lit the buildings on fire, but then he said, now we are, and then he got the public support. Yes, the Jews are bad. They're lighting buildings on fire. Now we can go and do this thing. So, yes. Yeah, exactly. So, but in a divine way, Krishna is always, he is acting all these things out. All these leelas, everything is actually everything happening in your life is actually Krishna's doing through some aspect of himself. He's actually over there in Vrindavan playing. He's not caring at all for this material world. But he has expansions running everything in the material world that are, doing so many things. And so where everything is connected. So just like in the countries of this world, especially in Kali Yuga, they create all these deceitful situations and they say, yes, look what happened. Oh, look, COVID-19 has everyone take this thing. Oh, look, this happened. Everyone do this. Oh, look, just like this is happening in the material world, Krishna also, on a transcendental level, he is arranging everything for his own purposes. So this is important to understand for trying to understand how can Krishna get killed. He's not really being killed. He's choosing to leave, and this is the way he's choosing to leave. And it also, there's many reasons. There's many leelas underlaying in here. But Prabhupada is just trying to prepare us for this. I must admit, this is my third time reading this, and it really didn't concretely hit me until maybe right now. And I can't wait for my fourth and fifth times reading through this. So anyhow, where was it? So Lord Krishna was apparently killed by the bow and arrow of the hunter. The Lord left his so-called material body in the material world. The Lord is Kaivalya, and for him there is no difference between matter and spirit, because everything is created from him. Therefore, his quitting one sort of body or accepting another body does not mean that he is the ordinary living being. All such activities are simultaneously one and different by his inconceivable potency. When Maharaj Yudhishthira was lamenting the possibility of his disappearance, it was just in pursuance of a custom of lamenting the disappearance of a great friend. But factually, the Lord never quits his transcendental body, as is misconceived by less intelligent persons. Such less intelligent persons have been condemned by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita, and they are known as the Mudhas. That the Lord left his body means that he left again his plenary portions in the respective dhams, transcendental abodes, as he left his Virat Rupa in the material world. So it's kind of taking something that is useless. The Lord can never be incomplete. So he left a form here, and it looks like, oh, this was his body, but this is not the transcendental nature of the Lord. Even yourself, you leave behind, when you die, you leave behind this body. But what actually goes with you from lifetime to lifetime? Well, yes, but most people don't have much of a spiritual bank account, which is why they're in the material world. No, there's plenty of material that goes with you. The subtle body is completely going with you. That's your mind, your intelligence, and your false ego. And whatever you are, I was explaining this to Avani this morning, about the nature of the internal experience. When trying to chant, when trying to meditate, bhakti, anything is an internal experience. It's, we chant this Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasora Sena Madhyan Vaditra, by all of the kirtan, the dancing, the playing of instruments of Mahaprabhu's kirtan, Madhyan is he's gladdened. Where? Manaso, in mind. This is where actually the experience is happening, internally. It's not... And like I was explaining to Avani this morning, in order for Parth to make breakfast today, he has to first conceive of the breakfast. And in his conception of the breakfast, then the breakfast can take physical manifestation. So in order for the physical body to take physical manifestation, there's actually a subtle body that's guiding and driving this thing, that will, attract the next set of parents, the next situation, and so on. So Krishna, his prakat expansion that he's leaving here, this is one thing. But actually Krishna's transcendental form can never be killed. Krishna's transcendental form can never be taken, or he leaves it here. It's something, no. Krishna is, just like we ourselves, even in this body, we have a subtle body that's operating this thing. You might have noticed, this is actually a phenomena that happens when people take to bhakti, because Kleshagni happens and Shubhda happens, meaning the removal of miserable situations and the arising of all auspicious situations. Their bodies tend to get more beautiful. And why is this phenomena happening? Everyone I know who's been practicing devotional service for some time, they just get more beautiful. Why? It's because internally, the subtle body in all its inauspiciousness is being dissolved, and what's arising is their true spiritual nature. So naturally what's reflecting now in their physical body is a much more beautiful form. Why? Because internally things are happening. It's not an external process. This is an internal process. So similarly, with the Lord, he is an internal being. And yes, he has prakat expansions, meaning manifested expansions. And we're seeing many of the prakat expansions. But reality is not this prakat. This prakat that we're seeing is all disappearing. It's like a flickering illusion. It's like a puff of smoke. The actual reality is an internal experience. It's uppercut. And it's always happening. So anyway, I don't want to get... This is not... maybe not something that can be realized through an intellectual understanding. It's not like I'll be able to give you a lot of intellectual analogies. And yes, I understand this now. This can be realized through realization, and you can start with realizing yourself, realizing how you yourself are engaging with this world and what's really happening at the external level. And in your chanting or in your devotional practices, when you internalize the process, is where the bhakti is happening. It's an internal process. You may actually realize, you'll have these realizations. This will come. But anyhow, not that I've completely realized. I'm just scratching the surface of becoming an inward person. I'm just scratching a little bit. But there's a whole journey, infinite actually, an infinite journey of realization and discovering more and more who you are and what you are in relation to this divine service, which is your actually nature. But anyhow, last few sentences. Did I?
Yeah.
Yes, I did finish. Yes. So that's it. That's it. We're going to learn how can Krishna leave this world? How can Krishna... He can only leave. He does everything by his own desire. All of existence is all based on Krishna's desire. All on Krishna, all on the desire of the one God. That's all, everything is happening. Even if something appears, this is challenging Krishna's desire. Maybe so. But it's being brought to your notice so that you know that you can do this more perfectly. But everything is ultimately Krishna's desire. Everything that's happening is the desire of God. But there's more refined desirable situations, and the devotee finds that in how to make all kinds of desirable arrangements. There's another... yes. Shri Radhika Madhavayor Apara. That's Shri Radha and Madhava's Shri Radhika Madhavayor Apara. That's like unlimited. Madhurya Leela, sweet pastimes. Guna Rupa Nam Nam, qualities, forms, and names. Pratikshana, at every moment. Pratikshana Spadana, he's relishing. Lolupasya, no, I chanted the wrong verse, sorry. Nikunja yuno rati keli siddhya yali bir yuktir apekshaniya. So what it means is Mukunda Prabhu was explaining this verse. In the private rooms of Radha and Krishna's enjoyment, the perfection that takes place there, the spiritual master, which is a topmost devotee, he... Yayali Bir of the gopis or of the spiritual, you could say Jan that he's following. Yayali Bir Yuktir. He's making arrangements, Yuktir, Apekshaniya, which are desirable. So, but these are all, this is the work of the devotee, to make everything more and more favorable for Krishna's pleasure. Everything, all the keys are there, but it takes the devotee's love to actually do it. So your love, all of these dead elements are here in this material world. But if you actually take them and internally add your love to please Krishna, then they become full of life. And then they lose their process of being dead. So this is actually the process of bhakti. You're transforming. Not that you are doing, it's being revealed unto you. But it will transform your dead subtle body that you've been engrossed in, your dead material body that you've been engrossed in. It will turn it into a transcendental instrument for divine service. It's amazing. It's amazing, and we can't even perceive it. No one else can perceive it, except maybe you. If you've become realized, you can perceive how it's happening to a certain degree. Or maybe you perceive how it's happening with others.
To a very small degree.
Yes. So this is the process of bhakti. It's a completely transformative experience. And things are happening internally and subtly. You have to realize this is the nature of reality. Reality is very subtle, And then even beyond the mind, intelligence, and false ego, there's a more subtle aspect of existence. The jivas and then the Supreme Lord, and then the Bhakti Shakti, the energy of divine love, love and service. It's operating everything actually, but everything is so grossified and so how would you say, covered, or our senses can only pick up so many things, so it can't find the subtle. Like for instance, Wi-Fi. This is broadcasting all over the world. They're the scientists. They know all the sciences of transmitting waves and bouncing waves and things. But how can we see? Oh yeah, I just grab my device and I can talk to my friend across the. How the heck's that happening? We really can't fathom. Oh my God! Well, this wave's bouncing here, and then it's bouncing there, and it's traveling through this tower, and. But it's like crazy. Like how the heck did that happen? Like it's amazing actually. But there's people who understand a subtle reality that they can make these things happen. So similarly, the spiritualists, they understand that there's things that can happen on a subtle reality with one's own intentions. So anyhow, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So thank you guys for joining. Again, the main seva today is please join for the July 4th Harinam tonight. We're going to do Harinam there. There'll be so many people. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of people. It'll be a great opportunity to chant the holy names, give them something wonderful, and then give them an opportunity to associate with the devotees, to maybe take some information, come back to programs, and then maybe even, or take a book, whatever, way we can help give mercy. And this is very dear to Krishna. He says, no one is more dear to me than one who tries to explain these secrets to others. So he says this in Bhagavad Gita. So become very dear to Krishna. This is an activity. Try to share or help. Maybe you don't know much about it yourself, but maybe there's someone or some devotees who are more experienced. If you just help them do something, they will guide you to, okay, that'll be good. So maybe you don't say, well, I don't know how to share. I don't know how to explain these secrets to others. You don't have to. Maybe Madhav knows how to explain. Just help Madhav. Hand him a book, and or call that person over to meet Madhav or something like that, and so on. So anyway, we'll be there. We'll be there tonight. We'll have fun, and it's supposed to be fun. Please join.